Hello and welcome to the Hard Hats and Hot Topics podcast brought to you by Calfordseaden. I'm Alison Hann. I'm a partner building surveyor at Calfordseaden, and in celebration of International Women's Day, we're here today to share our different career experiences as women in construction. So I'm joined by
Vicky Kyriacou, Senior Mechanical Engineer.
And Suhur Diriye, Health and Safety Consultant.
So the plan today is we're going to take some questions out of the hard hat, take it in turns, and we'll answer them with our experience of our careers. So who wants to go first?
I don't
you want
want
to?
to go first.
Pick out one.
The first question is, what do people most often misunderstand about your role?
I don't mind starting on that one. So as I said, I'm a building surveyor. Most people don't actually know what that is. They don't know it exists. So a lot of people not in the industry are regularly like, what is that? And I sort of try and explain it to them that for them, the most common type of builder surveyor they come across is someone that, if they're buying a house, would do the survey of the house for them. But that's only a small, tiny portion of it, and actually not even what we at Calfords do. So we're more kind of housing association and things like that. So it's a bit of everything, building surveying, I think. So it's it's a bit of project management, a bit of design, a bit of also we do a lot of building pathology, so it's solving sort of defects and things like that. So for me, it's people not actually knowing A, building surveyors exist, or B, what we do really.
My friends think I'm a plumber, so that's fun having to explain that one. So no, I just have to explain to them that I'm designing how a building, I suppose, functions and breathes and works in cohesion with the architects, the structurals, and how that all kind of fits in together and works. But yeah, they just sort of just say, no, you're a plumber, and they leave it at that.
Everyone does know what health and safety is, but they don't know that it's quite broad. So we do site inspections, we do pre-construction information as well, and we go to loads of meetings during the design phase. And yeah, I would have to, whenever someone asks me, I do explain it to them. But yeah, most of the time they don't know what it is.
Should do another one. Maybe put
Okay.
it aside so we don't be out. Do you want to pass it?
Oh yeah, I'll just leave it here. Okay. What experiences have helped grow your confidence? I would say learning from my colleagues and going to loads of client meetings, I feel like has built my confidence in being able to answer queries and be more efficient in my projects. And yeah, I feel like I've gained a lot of confidence from that, which I'm really happy about.
Brilliant.
Vicky?
Yeah, I would say just being thrown right in there with them, being exposed quite early on with a lot of things. I think really early on, I remember going to a meeting with a senior, and he gave me sort of his notes at the end of the meeting to sort of collate together with my notes and to send out sort of notes for the whole meeting. And it was quite nice to see that my notes matched his notes. And actually, I had a few extra details in there. So it was, keeping up with things quite early on and knowing that you can do it.
So for me, it's a long time ago when I started out on my career, but it's slowly sort of progressing through the industry, and sort of you learn with the more experience you gain. For me, a massive boost was getting my chartership. So I suddenly, because that was quite a hard experience for me, and getting out the other side and passing finally was, oh, actually, I do know what I'm talking about, and I've got those letters after my name, and it really helps. And it's a hard slog. It's not easy, but the feeling afterwards is just the best when you actually do pass, and that for me was a massive boost.
Yeah, that's good. Next question. What still needs to change culturally or structurally?
It's quite a big one.
I think a lot. If we talk about what positives have happened already, though, so I suppose there's a lot that has happened, and I think over the last, 10 or so years, I've seen good changes, But yeah, I think structurally and culturally, there's still a lot to be done. Just in general for women. Yeah, I suppose we're looking at women in construction, so predominantly women in construction. I think we were talking about before we started, that we've had quite different mat leave and
Yeah.
coming back to work situations.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's positive, but also where it can still be improved.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think you had a relatively
Yeah.
good one, which is good. I had a terrible experience when I came back from mat leave. So my son's 11 years old, so quite a while ago. But yeah, I just worked for, it was a different firm. It wasn't calfordseaden, but they just didn't understand how I could fit in. Like I went from being quite a good asset to almost being made to feel like I was a problem. So, you know, that was really hard for me. And I only went back 2 days a week, but, you know, they just weren't prepared to try and make it work. And I was
Oh.
sort of shoved in doing sort of site visits that wasn't really building surveying anymore. And, you know, it worked. And I just kind of carried on with it because it kind of filled the day. But yeah, it wasn't a good experience and resulted in me having to leave the firm and get a
Yeah.
new job. And yeah, it was sad because I'd been there, what, 9 years, so, you know, it wasn't like I was sort of new to the job or anything, but yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah, and I suppose in comparison, I've come back recently. So I'm doing technically full time, but I've come back 4 days a week using one day, my annual leave is one day sort of off, and they've been great with it. If anything, I've been encouraged to use my annual leave like that. It was actually a colleague's idea for me to do that. I didn't know I could do that with my annual leave. So yeah, really positive. And just gone right back to it.
Yeah.
They've not tried to take sort of my responsibilities away from me, or shy away from the fact that, you know, I'm going to have to leave a little bit on time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, even now with my son, it's at Calford's, it's they're really understanding. If even like things like sports day, you know, when they're at school, there's a lot of things that you have to go in for,
Yeah.
and it's never questioned, it's never an issue, and as long as, you know, you're doing your work and you're, you know, working hard, it sort of the payback from that is that it's quite flexible, and I think it's definitely improved considerably over the 11 years in our industry. Like when he's first, when he was at preschool and then first started primary, it was quite a massive juggle with the mum guilt on top of the work guilt, and you're really pulled from sort of pillar to post for, and it's just a constant feeling of guilt. That's what I associate with sort of being a young mum, is just guilt. And you know, it is a struggle, but you know, it's a lot easier for me now because he's pretty independent. Obviously he's only 11, so, but you know, we stopped him having to go to after school club a few years ago, because he's capable of sort of coming home, and even though I'm working, he kind of gets on with it, and I don't have to. You wouldn't. I mean, he's playing on his PlayStation quite a lot of the time. It means that I can work, and we're not having to pay that extra childcare, and we're not, you know. And every year it gets easier, but it was quite a struggle before, and it's that. For me, he was also in reception during COVID, and oh gosh, I was still working. I was having a son at home full time. My husband was working too, and there was so much homework to be doing every single day for school. And the other mums were sharing crafts that they were making because they were at home with their kids. And again, the mum guilt. And I'll be honest, the pressure was more from the other mums than it was from actually school. School weren't that fussed, but that was quite a struggle with sort of the work-life balances, as it were. But yeah, for me, I'm kind of going out the other side. There's elements of quite a lot of Friday afternoons they want you to come into school, which is like last summer was the first. So I've just recently gone full time. So last summer was the first time I couldn't make all this sports day, and I got there late, and I was so upset. I had a little cry because I was greeted by one of his friends and said, "You've missed all of Albert's races," and it was
Oh,
like the
no.
worst thing she could have said to me at that
No.
moment. And I was like, oh, I felt like an awful mum. Like, but he just didn't care. He really was like, "It's all right, Mum. I didn't bother me at all." So I think it's that in my mind, I just don't want to miss out on it for
Yeah.
him. But he's pretty chilled about it all. So it does get easier. And obviously I've only got one, so it is pretty easy. But yeah, it has its challenges in different stages. But to have a really, somewhere like Halfords that is really aware of that, like all of my team leaders have all got kids similar
Yeah.
ages, and everyone in our team pretty much has kids bar a few. And so everyone understands. And I think the culture of that is very different to what it used to be when I was first starting out. Like, I know my first few jobs, if I'd tried to get an afternoon to go to a sports day, it just wouldn't have been an option. And I think it's improving. It feels like it's improved a lot for me. It may be that it's Calfords and, they're great with the work-life balance, but to me and my team, I'm like, as long as you're doing your work and, you're meeting your targets and
Yeah.
your clients are happy, if you need to have a few hours off to go to a sports day, I personally think that makes you more productive because you're not sitting there going, like, you're not kind of, oh, I should be at sports day and this blasted company is sort of preventing me. So there is definite positives being flexible.
And I think it's that flexibility, isn't it? Like, you're only going to get that level of flexibility if people from sort of the top want that flexibility
Yeah.
or need that flexibility. And at the end of the day, it tends to be women that need that flexibility because it is, without sounding a bit too stereotypical, it is that family life balance. So without women in the top to kind of like push for these things or show that it's okay and normal, then it's not going to trickle down. So
Yeah.
I think that's where structurally and culturally there's more to be done, because statistically you just don't see as many women up at the top.
Yeah.
Just in general, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question. Okay. How did friends or family react to your career choice, and what advice would you give young women considering this path?
Well, they thought I was a plumber, so nothing wrong with being a plumber. My dad's a plumber. Maybe subconsciously that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
No, I think I would definitely encourage girls. And I know we touched already a little bit about doing early stages, but I wish if someone told me back when I was having to apply for like degree in uni or just looking at job spectrum, I wish someone said, "You'll really enjoy this," or "Have a look at this," because it kind of ticked all my boxes, and I didn't know until I got into it as a job. So, yeah, I would say to girls, don't just, if you're into sort of maths and the STEM modules, don't be so tunnel vision with it.
Yeah.
Expand your broadening, sort of look into other things. Engineering, there's so many different aspects of engineering, and get out there early. Do work experience, contact companies.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing work experience with school. You can do it in the summer, in your summer holidays. And loads of companies love that intuition and love that sort of forward thinking. So they'll definitely let you do that.
I think also that's really good on like applications for universities and things like that. So if you want that extracurricular just a bit more on your CV, the fact that you've gone out on your own and tried to get a bit of experience and a bit of shadowing and things like that, it could potentially be the thing that sets you apart from the next candidate.
Okay, who gave something meaningful to you early on, and how does it shape how you support others today?
Yeah, so for me, it comes back to my APC, my chartership. So I'll be honest, I didn't pass first time. I didn't pass because I was so nervous, and I found the experience really difficult because now it's all online now, but back then you had to go up to a hotel in London. They'd line you up in the corridor. They'd go 1, 2, 3, and you all had to knock at the same time. So yeah, nothing was set up to like calm your nerves. And then you'd walk into this room and there'd be a panel of, in my case, 3 men sitting there, and it felt like a cross-examination, and I wasn't good at that. So, but I'd been, as part of the lead up, we'd been doing. It wasn't at Calfords, it was a previous firm, but we've been doing loads of prep and, loads of mocks, which is really good. But for me, it just wasn't how I needed to approach it. It was making it worse almost. And so I had a colleague that, I'll be honest, when I didn't pass, I was like, right, that's it, I'm done, I'm never doing this again. And he gave me like 6 months to get over it, and then was like, right, come on, you've got to do this. You can pass. We'll do it this way. And basically, rather than putting me through the sort of cross examinations, he saw that a Q&A situation would be better for me. So he went out of his way and probably took a lot of his own time to just we chose a subject, we went through some questions, and it was just relaxed and informal, and tried to answer it like I would be in this situation. And because of it, I was just so much calmer, and it just really worked for me. And yeah, I managed to pass the second time. So it was just, I genuinely feel that thanks to him, obviously all the other colleagues that were involved and went out of their way to help me, but thanks to him, just seeing that, I managed to get my chartership. So
Yeah, so good. Was very fortunate as well in my first sort of job. They took a massive chance on me. I wasn't from an engineering background. I didn't have any experience or technically the right degree. And my previous firm took a massive chance on me and just gave me so much exposure, really let me sort of lead projects, maybe when I wasn't completely ready to, but they obviously saw that I was. And yeah, really sort of nurtured that part of my career very early on. And yeah, I'm still here. I still love what I do. I love the projects. I love sort of solving the problems and how each project might look similar, but very, very different set of problems. So I try to give that back, especially with like juniors. I try to get them involved early on in things that maybe they wouldn't necessarily be involved in, sort of client-facing meetings, or taking the lead in certain aspects. So I definitely push them before maybe they think they're ready, because I think it's important, that early exposure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll go on then. Okay. What surprised you most when you entered this sector?
What surprised me the most, I would say, how broad the construction industry is. There's so many different types of roles that I never knew about, and they all work together, and it's very much a collaborative industry. People might think it's like you're quite independent when you work in construction, but you need like to have that teamwork, and like yeah, I feel like it's not rigid. It's quite a broad sector, and not a lot of people are aware of that. So yeah.
I think it's quite easy to move around, more so than I thought as well. I know quite a few people that started off sort of doing what I do and have turned into like PMs, which I wouldn't have thought. It was an easy transition perhaps, but actually, that movement in the industry probably is quite knowledgeable. Like when you've got knowledge from another part of the industry to move across, it's benefits everybody.
I think that's also part of what surprised me, is the overlap of all the roles.
Yeah.
Like we all kind of do a little bit of everyone else's roles, and so whilst it's great having all the disciplines, you kind of do need to have a vague understanding of everything. And that was a bit surprising to me at the beginning, because I was just thinking I'd just be looking at damp and mould, and I mean I do look a lot of damp and mould, but it's also, I do project management and I do design. Like I've designed playgrounds and stuff. I never thought I'd be able to do that, and it's every project's different, which is really
that's quite
good.
cool. I didn't know you design playgrounds.
Yeah. I mean,
really
I've
cool,
done one with the architects this time, but previously it was sort of and it's really just a bit different.
What would you say to someone feeling reluctant now to join the industry?
What do I say?
Just do it.
Just go for it.
Just go for
You can
it.
do it.
Yeah. It is a really nice industry to work in. I think for me, and I guess you guys as well, you're not just sitting at your desk all day long. It's a really good mix of being on site, meeting different people, getting involved in all sorts of things. Like you're not just doing the same thing day in, day out. And I really like going to site and having the banter with sort of builders on site, but also writing a report back in the office. And for me, it's the variety, and that I couldn't be stuck at a desk 24/7. So if you like that kind of variety and moving around and getting out and about, it's definitely a great industry.
Yeah, I would say the challenges are really rewarding as well.
Yeah.
You know, when you finish a design, from finishing a design on paper and then seeing it actually installed and working and a
Yeah.
functioning building
Yeah.
is really fun and rewarding. And actually, like you said about site visits, you get to go to some pretty cool places.
Yeah.
I've done
Yeah.
quite a few listed buildings
they're
over my
amazing.
career, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
do.
mean, yeah, it's really fun. Some buildings, it's just fascinating. So to get that sort of inside look
Yeah.
and seeing how things
Behind the
actually
scenes,
operate
isn't
and
it?
run is really fun.
Yeah.
And very different day to day than just sitting in an office doing the same thing like every day or every month, sort of your month repeats.
Yeah.
It's so
No,
different
no.
every month.
Yeah.
I think also the variety of projects you're on as well does make a difference, because you're not doing the same thing every day. You might be like, I have one project that's a community centre, it's really good. And then there might be projects where it might be a school or like a really nice office space. So it's like every project is different. Yeah, I really like
It's
that.
quite nice. And I think like with you, like going somewhere and going, I did that.
Yeah.
I used to work around Oxford Street and Great Portland Street, and I can walk along there and go, you see that crack repair out there? I did that. And it's, I mean, I bore my husband and son no end, but it is the best feeling that you've sort of, a bit of legacy as well, like you've put your stamp on the world a little bit.
Yeah.
What does giving back look like early in your career?
Do you want to answer that?
Giving back. So giving back in terms of like time and effort that you put into a project, it does feel rewarding because your colleagues see like how hard you've worked on a project, and maybe giving your support to, or like if you know someone's got a lot of on their plate, like maybe helping them out does benefit the whole team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would say that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you need to be like senior or anything or have extensive experience to give back to sort of colleagues and to help others. I think as soon as you can see, like you said, someone may be struggling, or if somebody wants exposure and they're not quite getting it, you can always help guide them, however early in your career.
Completely.
And I think it's that level of mentorship, especially for like women, it's good to see that happening and helping each other out.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever hesitated to put yourself forward, and what changed? I've got a semi-good one. Not that I hesitated to put myself forward. I suppose I was promoted. Is that the right word? I was sort of given more responsibility before maybe I would have thought I was ready, but actually strived. I did really well with that new responsibility and excelled. So that was a nice little confidence boost.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, for me, sort of earlier on in the career, even now occasionally, when you're running a massive site meeting and you've got a table full of people that you're like, oh, these all know what they're talking about. And it's that massive imposter syndrome, sitting there like Big Bird at the end of the table kind of thing. And I was always hesitant to do that, but I've always overthought it before, and I've gone and done it, and it's been so much better than in my head it was going to be. And it's just that reminding yourself that it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Definitely.
And in the advantage, you've almost got no choice but to do it, and actually 9 times out of 10 you do it well. And if you don't, it's not really the end of the world.
It really isn't.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Well, potentially a lot of worse things, but it's you're never really, it doesn't really matter is the key. And as long as you make good notes and you've got your point across and you've discussed what you need to discuss, that's the key. So
I feel like I did feel a lot of imposter syndrome when I first started, but like a lot of the things that you overthink, that's not the end of the world. Like if you make a small mistake, that you learn from that, or if you need clarification on something, it's there aren't any stupid questions to ask. So
it's better to, I would sort of say to my juniors, like, whilst it's really important to ask questions, don't almost come, for want of a better phrase, come with solutions.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather you came and said to me, I'm not sure about this, but I think I should do that.
Yeah.
If that's wrong, doesn't matter. The fact that you've kind of thought about it shows sort of initiative,
Yeah, definitely.
and you're, rather than, I can't do this, tell me what to do, and it sort of, you won't necessarily get a good response from everyone.
Yeah.
So it's showing that you're thinking through the process, and that really helps. And it helps you as well, because otherwise it is easier to ask and get someone else to tell you, and you won't necessarily learn that way.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would say 9 times out of 10, there's somebody else in the team wanting to ask that same
Yeah,
question.
yeah, completely.
So sometimes you just gotta ask them all the questions.
Yeah.
That's true.
What positive changes for women in construction have you seen? So I suppose we did touch on this a little bit already. I suppose at Ground Zero on site, there's been quite nice changes. We get toilets now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a massive
we
bonus.
We get PPE. We get the right size boots, not just
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
size. There's
Yeah.
multiple sizes.
Yeah.
And they don't have a pink streak.
And they
Because
don't have
that-
pink-
my
they're pink
first pair of
boots.
PPE were like, oh, here's your girl version.
Yeah.
It's got pink on it. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Not that there's anything wrong with pink, but it was just so like
Yeah.
clearly designed by a man.
Yeah, it makes you stand out unnecessarily on site.
Yeah.
You don't need to be wearing pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like I had ones that were, you couldn't get ones that fitted properly because they were made for men's feet. And I ended up tripping over all the time. So
no.
like it's almost like
Yeah.
a health and safety issue not
Yeah.
having the right boots.
Yeah, they're
as
heavy
much as-
boots
yeah.
as
They are
well.
very
They give
heavy.
you like
Yeah.
blisters around your
Yeah,
ankles
yeah,
if
yeah.
they're
They're
not
not-
the right, they don't fit properly. So yeah, those are all good changes.
I think for me, like obviously joining 20 odd years ago, it has improved. Like there's a lot more women
On site. Yeah.
on site as well as in the office. You know, it's not as many on site as it should be. I've got my first job. I mean, it's crazy to say my first job that I've got a female contracts manager on now, and it was, oh, that's nice. And there shouldn't even be any thought to it. It should just be that is what it is, and you get that on many jobs. There used to be a company that I worked for a long time ago that were all female decorators. That's all they did, and
Wow.
you know, and they only employed females because they felt it just was sort of their brand almost. And it's you know, it is improving. You know, facilities are improving, attitudes towards women on site are improving. Like we spoke about, that they still got a way to go. And you know, I know it's polite, but the fact that they always feel men feel, a lot of builders feel they have to apologise if they swear in front of you on
Yeah.
site. It's like, I'm a bit of a potty mouth. It's not going to, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world if you swear in front of me. My ears won't bleed. But I do get that that's sort of them trying to be considerate.
Yeah,
and
and
that's sort of their
respectful.
way. But you do still get the odd situation, like aggressive builders that almost, I mean, I've been called treacle quite a lot of times when on site, or dear, or darling, which is never good. And I think way back when I was sort of first starting out, I did go to a site meeting and had that imposter syndrome feeling, and I was running out lots of new builders, first meeting with everyone. And the first thing the main contracts manager said to me is, oh, are you a secretary to come and do the minutes?
No way.
I got a little bit of pleasure by saying, no, actually, I'm running this meeting and I'm the project manager on this job. And a little bit of kick every time I had to tell him what to do something. But, you know, it is vastly improved throughout my career. So it will only go up, I think. So yeah, it will.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think it naturally will, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I've had too many awkward, uncomfortable moments. Let's say on site, I think office sort of culture is pretty much there, I would say, maybe. I would like to think it's there for, you know, vastly everybody. But then I suppose, yeah, on site, it's just that they just don't have that interaction with as many women all the time. So they are going to slip into the odd bit of banter that maybe is not appreciated by us, which
Yeah.
is, you know, only natural for them to try and keep it a little bit more professional. But yeah, no, I've not had crazy stories. I've had one PM who came on quite late in the scheme sort of make a comment, and he said, I I've never worked with so many women before. And there was 3 of us, me, my colleague who was the electrical engineer and the architect. So I
No,
wouldn't even say that was that many, but for him, it was a
it's a
lot.
lot.
But yeah, no, I suppose. So he's obviously noticing a change, even if it's a little one.
Whether he's pleased about it or not, I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
We've not got many questions left. What helped you find your voice or feel a sense of belonging? Do you wanna-
I would say definitely my colleagues. I feel like they helped a lot in terms of like when I first started, um, just telling me like early on, like it's okay if you like no question is stupid to ask. If you need help or support with anything, then let me know. And I feel like they were really helpful with that, and that made me feel more confident, and it boosted my confidence, which helped me find my voice. So I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I would say quite early on as well. My previous boss was really quite good at sort of introducing me to, let's say, a meeting or client or project, and then taking a step back
Yeah.
and basically being like, she's running it. This is
Yeah.
your point of contact, and just letting me go. So I suppose, in a sense, my voice was always validated quite
Yeah.
early on and allowed to sort of take the lead
Yeah.
in things,
Yeah.
which is always a good,
That's really important.
really early on as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think I've in the past had bosses that we had a strange sort of relationship with the client, and they would just never talk to me, and it was my job, and they'd go to my boss, and you end up. It feels like your boss is constantly having to ask you questions, and it sort of undermines
Yeah.
your kind of confidence that, well, why are they not talking to me? And so for me, sort of early days, when that changed and sort of clients were coming to me, and I was getting repeat business from clients, that's you're like,
It's
oh,
always a good sign.
Yeah, that's a good
I've done
sign,
that,
yeah.
and it's that's a real positive that you're sort of doing things right.
Yeah. And also having that safe space to thrive,
Yeah.
I feel like is really important. And yeah, having good culture in your team, and
Yeah.
I feel like does definitely help you thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I try for my team to be available if they need support or they've got questions, and because I had that when I was sort of in my early career, it's sort of I've given back what I got out of it, in the sense of, what I found it helped me. I feel it's my kind of sort of not right, that's the wrong word, my duty to provide that back, if you
Yeah.
see what I mean. So
Yeah, definitely. I suppose it's that visibility again, isn't it? Of if you know how important it is to have that visibility when you start off in your career, so you
Yeah.
want to give it back
Yeah.
to people starting out. And I think it's extra important when it's women as well. I think it's always good for women to see women in those positions,
Yeah.
in those leadership roles, who are happy and willing to give them your time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all good. What does calfordseaden do to promote female in leadership positions in the industry?
So for me, I've started out on the female leadership program. So Calford's, it's sort of a relatively new initiative that it's not just for females, but it's a leadership program that they've set up, that a group of us that are, I'm not explaining this very well, a group of women are sorry, one moment, let me think about how I want to answer this. So yeah, calfordseaden has set up an initiative of a leadership program for people in the company, and they've sort of divided it into men and women, actually. And initially I was a bit like, oh, I don't need to be just female leadership. Why does female just need training? But interestingly, we've had a couple of sessions now, and I think because it is all females in the room, we're all a bit more honest, and we're all supporting each other. And we've got out of it that everyone's sort of, I mean, it feels a bit like a bit of a therapy session, maybe just for me, maybe no one else, but it is lovely. We discuss the difference between leadership and management, and it's your standard sort of training, but I think because it's just all women in the
Yeah.
room, you're a bit more honest, and everyone's sort of supporting each other and coming up with ideas for each other how to help within our roles as well as naturally learning how to be a better leader and sort of progress your career in that sense. And there's a variety of different levels in the training, so it's not just for like I'm a partner, it's not just partners in there. And I think what we're getting out of it is just sort of a lot of it's sort of obvious, but it's someone sort of explaining to you that, like, when you are mentoring people, it's setting clear goals and things like that. And it's I don't know what else to say really. But yeah, it's basically like it's really good that we're all kind of getting together and helping each other
Yeah.
as well as learning at the same time. So, and it's creating a bit of a culture of support for the women in Calfords as well. So
I was going to say that access to that type of visibility,
Yeah.
even just on its own,
Yeah.
is like invaluable. That's so
Yeah.
great because again, you don't necessarily mix with a lot of women. Let's say your team or the wider team. But obviously as a company there are lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be able to have access to
Yeah.
them when you wouldn't necessarily have access to them,
yeah,
is actually really nice.
because it's not just like Orpington. We've got people coming from the Essex office, London and Orpington. I think there may be some from further afield, Cambridge maybe as well. And I wouldn't necessarily have met them before. You might have happened to pass them at sort of a summer do or something like that. But it means we're all kind of getting to know each other. And we spoke about next session we've got in April. We're going to try and go out for drinks afterwards. And there is, I think it's creating a bit of a community as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really positive thing. So if you do get the chance to be put forward, I really, really recommend it.
It's really good.
Thank you for listening to our Hard Hats and Hot Topics podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to follow us on your preferred podcast platform, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay connected with us on LinkedIn and Instagram for all the latest news and events.